The BBC is talking about the double standards of the misleading, or non-coverage actually, of Navalny's non-existence. Alexei Navalny is now not with us, and Biden is calling Russia's Putin a thug. So for somebody who's now been afflicted with that problem in a prison cell, I'm very much astonished that the same treatment is not given to a whole city, few cities actually, and a particular person. Now, to call one leader of a country a thug and not call another, that's one of the very blatant problems and contradictions of the liberal democratic hypocrisy. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 points. One about Biden himself and his tactics, his political tactics, and the second about the liberal democratic hypocrisy that is quite prevalent, and we see it in many of the situations that we are in. Look at all these newspapers, from the Associated Press, the Washington Post, the BBC, all saying that somehow this is a calamity, that the non-existence of one person who has been incarcerated is a calamity. Here's the Associated Press on its front page. In that section, it's all about Biden and his statements about Alexei Navalny. And here's the Washington Post. In its opinion section, it's all about condolences. All the leaders are now standing in silence. The BBC is talking about the double standards of the misleading, or non-coverage actually, of Navalny's non-existence in the Russian media. Now, of course, I get it. It's your ideology. It's the way you push and present yourself to the world. And some people are going to have this preference over others. Sure. I mean, the claim of human rights, that's equal to the whole world, that it's universal, it doesn't apply to some people. Here's The Intercept, actually showing the double standard, the coverage of the New York Times, the Washington Post, of the Palestinian cause, the Palestinian ordeal that's going on, saying how the double standards work in that coverage, with some words used with a disparity of 60 to 2. But that's not important, is it? The second thing about Biden. Now, I think Biden is one of the smartest U.S. politicians, and I think he uses positions to his own use. He always does. And I don't get this Sleepy Joe thing. I don't buy it that much. Everything he uses for his own good. There's always this material aspect, but there is an ideological aspect, and he does play the game well. Now, he's using this ordeal to push more towards aid for Ukraine without overruling the Congress. He's using it as a political tool to advance his political advances or interests, and that's a good thing from him. That's going to save him in his elections, and that's one of the ways to advance his interests in Europe and also save his politics and elections. I would like to enrich the discussion, so leave your comments. But something else. Well, when it comes to the Palestinian cause, the double standards with all the leaders standing in silence and condoning, and how the coverage, and people can't even mourn Navalny, but people also can't mourn the Palestinians. You can't have your cake and eat it, as the UK citizens say. So now, to the liberals and to the socialists who think that they're not liberals, but if you're in the US, you're most likely are, we're going to delve more into this. Don't worry. But you should actually think it through. Maybe your ideas are not so pure. I'm going to talk about it later. Take care.